Hi, this is uh, S. Mallikarjun, lecturer in mechanical engineering, JMRP Utnur. The subject I am going to discuss in this video is engineering materials. Subject code 18M305C. We are in the fifth unit and the topic is surface hardening. In the previous sessions, we have discussed the heat treatment processes of hardening the material or softening the material. By annealing, normalizing, and quenching process. But this heat treatment is little different that not the entire material but the surface is hardened. So what is surface hardening? Only the surface part of the material is hardened, not the entire metal gets hardened. Those. So the treatment of steel by heat or mechanical means to increase the hardness of the outer surface while the core remains relatively soft. The combination of a hard surface and a soft interior is greatly valued in modern engineering because it can withstand very high stress and fatigue, a property that is required in such items as gears and anti-friction bearings. Surface hardened steel is also valued for its low cost and superior flexibility in manufacturing. So in surface hardening heat treatment process, only the outer surface to some thickness, maybe up to 0.5 mm, or up to 1 mm, the outer surface gets hardened and the remaining portion remains as it is. So to get or to achieve this kind of properties in a metal, what we do is surface hardening. So how do we make the surface harden? It is very simple. So let us discuss about surface hardening. The oldest surface hardening method is carburizing, in which steel is placed at a high temperature for several hours in a carbonaceous environment. Then the carbon diffuses into the surface of the steel, rendering it harder. That means in the early stage days, a steel was kept in charcoal in a box. Charcoal is filled in a box and then the steel component is placed in the charcoal, and then the steel is, and then the entire box is heated, so that as the temperature increases, the diffusion process increases. So the diffusion of carbon, which is charcoal, which, so from charcoal it diffuses into the surface layers of the steel. So this was the technique used in those days to get the surface hardened. So various techniques of carburizing have been developed to increase efficiency and reduce cost. So the pack method involves packing into a steel box the parts to be hardened along with a compound of charcoal or coke to which carbonates have been added. The pack is then heated to a very high temperature, usually 925 degrees to 955 degrees centigrade. Then the depth of the carbon penetration depends upon the exposure time and temperature. So this method is called as packing method or pack method, what I have discussed just now, that is in pack method, in whichever steel component we need to do surface hardening, that component is packed in a charcoal which is filled in a box, usually steel box, and then it is heated, the box is heated or the charcoal is heated to a temperature of 925 degrees to 955 degrees, in which the carbon diffuses into the steel. Actually, the diffusion rate depends upon the temperature at which the charcoal is heated or the component is heated, and to what time, what extent of time or what period of time or the duration of time it is exposed in the charcoal. The steel is exposed in the charcoal. So these are the parameters which will decide the depth of the steel carbon diffusing into the steel. So to whatever extent the carbon diffuses into the, or whatever depth the carbon diffuses into the steel, the that depth, till that depth steel gets hardened. So by diffusing carbon we are improving the hardness, and by diffusing the carbon onto the surface layers we are increasing the hardness. So that is about the pack method. But there is also another method called as gas carburizing. The parts are heated in contact with such carbon bearing gases as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, or propane. So, just by being in contact, whatever part, in whichever part we need to, on whichever part we need to do surface hardening, that parts are brought in contact with the carbon bearing gases, that is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or methane or propane, and then it is heated. So what is the advantage and disadvantage of this gas carburizing? There are so many advantages in gas carburizing rather than pack method. pack method. In pack method, there is no uniformity in the diffusion of carbon into the steel component, because wherever the carbon is in contact with the surface, that carbon will diffuses into the steel surface. And the portions like intricacies which are not in contact with the charcoal or carbon, then the diffusion of carbon in those areas is very low. So because of this, in some areas where the carbon is in contact, or where the coke or charcoal is in contact with the steel, those areas more carbon will get diffused, and in some areas there will be less contact with coal or charcoal or coke. Then those areas, less carbon will get diffused. Because of this, uneven diffusion of carbon takes place onto the surface of the component. So therefore, different regions of the component will have different surface hardening, just because of uneven diffusion of carbon onto the surface of the steel component. So because of this uneven diffusion of carbon onto the surface of the steel component, uneven surface hardness takes place. And because of uneven surface hardening, there is a chance of getting the material fail. So therefore, pack method is not very much famous, and it is not very much adopted, and it was only adopted in the early stages of steel making and hardening. So now, what are the advantages of this gas carburizing? The technique behind gas carburizing is, we heat the metal in the atmosphere of carbon bearing gas. Carbon bearing gases are nothing but carbon monoxide gas, or carbon dioxide gas, or methane gas, or propane, all propane gas. So because of gas can go to any place, and a even diffusion of carbon takes place in gas carburizing. The main advantage in gas carburizing is even diffusion of carbon takes place onto the surface of the steel component, on which surface hardening is required. So all the intricacies and the surface areas will get hardened because of even carbon diffusion. So this is the technique. So what is it? In the oldest surface hardening method is carburizing, in which the steel is placed at high temperatures for several hours in a carbonaceous environment, and the carbon is allowed to diffuse onto the surface of the steel. So in the first technique we discussed about pack method surface hardening, and the second technique is gas carburizing. In gas carburizing, the parts are heated in contact with a carbon bearing gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, or This process is usually done in a large furnace into which the parts are fed at one end and from which they emerge at the other end in the hardened stage. This is very simple when compared to pack method. It has many advantages. Gas carburizing has many advantages over pack method because it is very fast when compared to the pack method. Not only fast, the equipment used is very simple compared to the pack method. So, this process usually done in a large furnace into which the parts are fed at one end and from which they emerge at the other end in the hardened state. The same process is used in carbonitriding except that ammonia is added to the furnace atmosphere and takes place at lower temperatures that produce less distortion in the steel. Gears, ball and roller bearings and piston rings are among the products made by carburizing. Another method of surface hardening called nitriding utilizes nitrogen and heat camshaft fuel injection. Fuel injection pumps and valve stems are typically heated by hardened by this process. So in gas carburizing, the parts are kept on a belt conveyor or a steel conveyor, and the parts are and the conveyor is passed into the furnace, and in the furnace we have a carbonaceous gas, and the parts are heated to a temperature, and at this temperature the carbon in the gas diffuses onto the surface of the components, which gives the components hardness. So the same process used in carbonitriding, except where in carbonitriding instead of using carbonaceous gas, ammonia gas is used. This is the only difference, but the rest of the process is same, and the temperatures are also different and the holding time is different. And it can be also a continuous process. So gas vaporizing process is a surface chemistry process which improves wear and fatigue resistance. In this, the work pieces are preheated actually and then held for a period of time at an elevated temperature in the austenitic region of the specific alloy, typically between 820 to 940 degrees centigrade. And these parts are passed into the gas chamber, and thus the carbon is diffused onto the surface. So during the thermal cycle, the components are subject to an enriched carbon atmosphere such that nascent species of carbon can diffuse into the surface layers of the component. So the rate of diffusion is dependent on the alloy and carbon potential of the atmosphere. So care must be taken to ensure that only sufficient carbon is available in the atmosphere at one time to satisfy the take-up rate of the alloy to accept the carbon atoms. In practice, this is defined in a carbon potential set point profile which runs concurrently while the temperature cycle. The set point may give a boost phase where the carbon potential would be typically set above 1.0% carbon. As the cycle progresses and the effective case depth increases, the carbon set point will be reduced to complete the diffusion stage. Depending on the final requirement for effective case depth, the whole cycle may take many hours. So once the heating and carbon diffusion part of the process is complete, it is necessary to rapidly quench the components to a defined alloy, and the specific quenched method and time is used. So this method is adopted for nitrocarburizing, nitriding, and the other processes. So another process of surface hardening is flame hardening. The other technique is flame hardening. Flame hardening and induction hardening, in which high heat is applied for a short time by gas flame or high frequency electric current, and then the steel is immediately quenched, are used generally for larger implements. So flame hardening is a common surface hardening method. Metal surfaces such as steel are heated with high temperature flame and then quenched. The result of flame hardening is hard surface that is more resistant against wear and corrosion. Because of this flame hardening, it is a short time hardening process actually. So basically, it is a heat treatment process where oxy-fuel gas flames are directly impinged onto the gear tooth surface area to be hardened, which is then subjected to quenching. It results in a hard surface layer of martensite over a softer interior core. Its cost is considerably less than induction hardening. Very large gears whose quality requirement is generally very high and heat treatments by conventional processes are not practical or economical are usually flame hardening. Basically, two types of flame hardening techniques are in use, namely spin hardening and a tooth at a time methods. So, spin hardening is best suited for gears with enough mass to absorb the excessive heat applied in this method without too much distortion. Whereas in the tooth to tooth method, the gear is heated and quenched by machine itself, which limits the amount of heat going on to into the gear. There are two ways of heating gear teeth. One is the tooth to tooth method shown. Tooth to tooth method. The other method is a flank is hardened, leaving the root area. Gases used for flame heating are acetylene and propane. Each of these gases is mixed with air in particular ratios and burned under pressure to generate the flame that the burner directs onto the workpiece. The usual range of carbon content required in gear steels for flame hardening is around 0.4 to 0.5%. Quenching is done either by water spray or by air. A typical hardness range for various compositions of gear steels obtained by water quenching is RC45 to RC65 and by air quenching it is RC45 to RC63. Modernization in surface engineering has advanced the gear industry with improved functional performance and an enhanced surface life of gears. This has been done by developing advanced coatings such as hybrid and nano coatings and their deposition methods, which indulge plasma enhanced deposition. So, in flame hardening, a gas flame composed of a single or multiple flame heads move across the surface of the part, raising the temperature up to 850 degrees centigrade, followed by a water quenched head that sprays water at the surface previously heated. A choice of fuels, example acetylene, propane, or natural gas, the flame head can be static and part moves at a predetermined speed in another process variation. In induction hardening, water cooled preformed copper coils in close proximity to the part surface have an AC electric current passed through them. generating an electromagnetic field that subsequently heats up the part surface using eddy currents. Temperatures up to 850 can be achieved. High frequencies give shallower depth of heat, while low frequencies give a deeper depth of heat. That is, a 50 kilohertz for a zero point 0.5 mm depth and a 1 kilohertz for 5 mm depth. That is, high frequencies will give very shallow depth of heat and low frequencies give a higher depth of heat. Generally, lower depth of hardness layer created than for a sample flame hardening with a short cycle time, making it suitable for smaller parts. Quenching with water, oil, or air should quickly follow using a separate quenching ring integrated with the coil assembly. Several types of inductor shapes to match these inductor shapes. So, electron beam hardening is another flame hardening technique. In electron beam hardening, a beam of electrons is used to heat up the surface of the part, highly repeatable and localized process that produces no distortions. Expensive equipment costs and is more suitable for small parts due to vacuum chamber size limitations. No quenching is necessary. In electron beam flame hardening, no quenching is required. And small parts can be easily hardened. So there is another flame hardening method, that is which uses laser beam. Laser beam flame hardening is a high power laser heats up the surface of the part, and rapid heat and highly controllable localized process that produces no distortion. Although expensive equipment cost and more suitable for small parts. And this is also used suitable for smaller parts. In both the cases, the surface heat is above some critical temperatures and rapidly cooled. And it is essential that the parental material has sufficient carbon or alloys to produce the required hardening by quenching. Heating either takes place during a gas flame or by electric induction heating caused by eddy current generated in the surface layer. Typically, flame hardening is used for such components as gears and cams, whilst induction hardening is applied to crankshaft journals and universal joints. Many other components ranging from small shafts and bearings up to large forgings, fabricated, fabricated structures and castings are also subjected to some form of heat treatment. Occasionally, this may take the form of simple stress relief operations aiming to reduce the level of residual stresses produced by prior manufacturing processes. Often, however, the treatment may be applied in order to effect some metallurgical improvements such as the normalizing of large castings and forgings to improve their high temperature creep characteristics of the surface hardening of the gear shafts and gear bearings. The required phase change of such processes usually entails the rapid cooling of components from some elevated temperature, and it is this cooling which induces thermal gradients, and if these are sufficiently large, residual stresses. The component surface tends to cool more rapidly, introducing tensile stresses in the outer cell layers, which are resisted by the greater bulk of the core material and result in residual compressive stresses. As stated earlier, the stress gradient with depth into the material will depend upon the temperatures involved, the coefficient of thermal expansion of the material, and the method of cooling. Particularly, severe stress gradients can be produced by rapid quenching in water or oil. And differential thermal expansion is another area in which residual stresses or stress systems which can be regarded as residual stresses arise. In cases where components constructed from materials with different coefficients of linear expansion are subjected to uniform temperature rise, or in situations such as heat exchangers or turbine castings where one material is subjected to different temperatures in different areas, free expansions do not take place, and one part of the component attempts to expand at a faster rate and is constrained from doing so by an adjacent part which is either cooler or has a lower coefficient of expansion. So residual stresses will most definitely occur on cooling if the differential expansion stresses at elevated temperatures exceed yield. So when dealing with the quenching of heated parts, as mentioned above, a simple rule is useful to remember. What cools last is in tension. I repeat, what cools last is in tension. Thus, the surface which generally cools first ends up in residual biaxial compression, while the inner core is left in a state of triaxial tension. An exception to this, the quenching of a normal through hardened components when residual tensile stresses are produced at the surface, unless a special process introduced called termed Mars stressing. This probably explains why surface hardened parts generally have a much greater fatigue life than corresponding through hardened items. So, should residual tensile stresses be achieved in a surface and considered inappropriate, then they can be relieved by tempering. Although care must be taken to achieve the correct balance of ductility and strength after completing the tempering process. So these are the surface hardening techniques. So before I finish end up the video session, this surface hardening, it is the oldest surface hardening method, and the oldest surface hardening method is carburizing, in which the steel is placed at a high temperature for several hours in a carbonaceous environment. When the steel part is kept in a carbonaceous environment for many hours, the carbon in the carbonaceous material will diffuse into the steel component through its surface. So there are various techniques to make the carbon diffuse into the surface. Among them, pack method is one of the methods. In this pack method, the carbon is allowed to diffuse into the steel component from carbonaceous material like charcoal, coal, or coke. This method involves A steel box is filled with charcoal or coal or coke, and the steel components which are to be surface hardened is kept in this medium, and then it is heated up to a temperature range of 925 degrees to 950 degrees centigrade, which is above the A3 line or ACM line, and then hold at that temperature for sufficiently long time, and then it is cooled. So the depth of the carbon penetration depends upon the exposure time and temperature where the process is carried. So in pack method, due to there are many disadvantages in the pack method, another method called as gas carburizing is introduced. What is the disadvantages? What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages in the pack method are uneven diffusion of carbon and uneven areas. In some area the diffusion is more, and in some area the diffusion is less, and in some area there will be no diffusion at all. Areas like very corners and interstices there will be no diffusion because there will be no contact with the carbon with the surface. So these disadvantages are overcome in gas carburizing. So in gas carburizing, a furnace is used in which the components are passed into the furnace, and from one side, and the other side the components are taken out. This is a continuous process, and in the furnace they maintain a carbonaceous gas like carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide or methane or propane or acetylene gas, and the component is preheated or heated to a temperature of 900 to 950 degrees centigrade, and then they are allowed to pass into the furnace, and whatever the carbon present in the gas will diffuses onto the surface of the steel component. And in this method all the difficulties that are faced in the pack method are overcome. And the advantage of this is we can also do carbonitrading on the surface of the steel by instead of using carbonaceous gases, ammonia gas is used for carbonitrading. So carbonitrading has more wear resistance than the normal carbon diffusion. So therefore ammonium is used instead of ammonium gas is used instead of carbonaceous gas. So as we discussed, even in this it is the diffusion of carbon depends upon the temperature and the exposure time. So this process is usually done in a large furnace into which the parts are fed at one end and from which they emerge at the other end in the hardened state. The same process is used in carbonitrading, except the ammonia is added to the furnace atmosphere and it takes place at lower temperatures. So and the other technique is flame hardening and induction hardening. So we discussed all these in detail. I hope you understood the surface hardening methods, and in the next video we will be discussing about the case hardening. Thank you.